Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, all the participants. Myself, Dipanita Ghosh, Assistant Professor of Computer Science and Engineering Department of Bengal College of Engineering and Technology, invite you all for the International Short-Term Training Program in Machine Learning and Data Science Marvels. This is the fourth day and second session of our STTP, and the chairperson of this session is Mr. Dipankar Sir, Assistant Professor of Department of Information Technology, and I am honored to announce that Dr. Shayan Kumar Roy and Dr. Humaria Ashraf ma'am will join pre-gracing our program today. Welcome you. And today's talk will be on generative AI enable cyber defense, a new frontline in cyber security. Dr. Roy is the head of School of Computer Science and full-time professor at Taylor University, Malaysia. He completed a PhD degree in computer science and engineering from University of Canterbury in New Zealand and completed the MTech and BTech in computer science and engineering from India. Dr. Roy worked in the School of Digital Technology in Manukau Institute of Technology, MIT, in Auckland, where he held the position of Dean, Head of School, Network Leader, and so on. Dr. Roy's research topic related to information and cybersecurity, IoT application 5G and 6G networks. And SAD has also guided many PhD research work and research master theses. He has also two published UK design patents. And our next speaker is Dr. Humaria Ashraf ma'am, the program director and senior lecturer from the School of Computer Science at Taylor University, Malaysia. She completed her PhD degree from International Islamic University, Islamabad, Pakistan, with specialization in cellular mobile networks and wireless networks. Dr. Ashraf started her teaching career at Sardar Bahadur Khan Oman University. Dr. Ashraf's research interests span a wide array of topics within the computer science, including wireless sensor networks, next generation networks, IoT, voice over LET, and voice over IP. Our session is live on YouTube. Participants are joined there, and said you can and they can ask question in YouTube chat box. Our session chair will ask the question at the end of the session. And now, thank you. Now I am requested to Sarah and ma'am, please start your session.
Okay, hello everyone. It's an honor to be here. So my name is Sayan. I'm from the School of Computer Science at Taylor University. And with me here is Dr. Humair Ashraf, also from Taylor University School of Computer Science. And together we'll be presenting a talk today. Again, an honor for us to be invited for this data talk here. I'll try to quickly share my slides here. Okay, just give me a moment. Sorry, just having some issues in sharing my slide. Okay, can you see my slides?
Yes, can.
Okay. Thank you. So it's visible to everyone, I guess.
Yes, yes, visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes, sir. Is it visual?
I'm just trying to make a full screen. Okay, I'm not sure why is it not happening a full screen there. Okay, can you see the full screen now?
Yes, can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So we'll be presenting the talk on generative AI-enabled cyber defense, a new frontier in cybersecurity. So, of course, as you can understand, this talk will touch down on the following topics. So we'll be talking about AI in general, and then AI-enabled and generative AI-enabled cyber attacks. We'll be talking about the dark side of generative AI or the generative AI-enabled cyber attacks. Then we'll be talking about Gen AI-enabled cyber defense, and we'll slowly glimpse about the current status at the moment, some challenges that companies are having to face, and the best practices that companies can consider. Then we'll be talking about some of the research topics of interest in context to Gen AI-enabled cyber defense. And then we'll end up having an example of how a Gen AI-enabled cyber defense can detect phishing attack through swarm intelligence. So, needless to mention, of course, AI is actually leveraging computers and machines to mimic the problem-solving and decision-making capabilities of the human mind, and it's quickly becoming a mainstream in our lives, and it's used in different kind of applications to evolve, as you can see in the picture. So AI is practically used in all different types of applications these days, starting from healthcare, transport, agriculture, education, e-commerce, data security, finance. So you name an application, there could be some kind of AI involved in it. Here I have got just a top 100 AI companies, which is almost like 2 years old now, this particular list. But this actually shows that how AI is actually mushrooming in all different applications worldwide. And these days, of course, like it's very difficult to find an application of future that doesn't have any AI actually involved in it. Now, it's important to note that AI actually performs based on the data that it uses. So, of course, like if faulty or fraudulent data goes into the algorithm, then the AI system might reach incomplete or incorrect assumptions or be used for fraudulent purposes. So I'll come to that, what I mean. So a question that always people debate nowadays is how intelligent is AI? So which means that does AI system understand between what is right and what is wrong? Are they capable of answering why are they performing the way they are doing it, or how are they performing the way they are doing it? So AI system, can they really understand the difference between right and wrong, or can they answer a question like why they are performing the way or how they're performing that way? And can they really understand the consequences between actions and decisions? So in a way, are the systems really responsible or trustworthy systems? So these are very much like appropriate debates that are going on as we move to an industrial revolution 5.0, okay, in the next era, where of course AI and human will be working like side by side. So basically, these two will be complementing each other. AI will be complementing the human's intelligence. But it's up to the human to make AI intelligent or to work responsibly. Okay, so what I mean by that, for example, we have like autonomous cars now coming up in the market. Okay, now while testing these autonomous cars, there are multiple incidents or fatal accidents that has happened in multiple different parts of the world. Now, are these autonomous cars responsible for that? Apparently, yes, because these cars have actually hit a people or killed someone like that. But these are autonomous cars. These are just systems, okay? They don't really understand exactly what they're doing. It's the human being or the developers who actually develop the systems who are mainly responsible for how the systems will act and perform. So the human being or the developers are responsible for the consequences of the actions and decisions of these systems. They are the ones who should answer, why is the system not behaving properly? Or how have you developed the system so that it is actually behaving incorrectly? So all this actually lies on the human or people like us who are actually developing the systems. So in a way, AI systems are nothing but like black box. They enable dumb systems, So unless you make them behave into something. So basically, they behave based on the data sets that we enter into the system. And these data sets may not be perfectly objective. So internal behavior of these data sets, of these models inside the black box are mostly unknown. Okay, because nowadays these are so sophisticated models. At times, the developers who are developing these models have a bit of like a misunderstanding the way these models might work. So behavior patterns of these models or the outputs will be unknown, and outputs are produced, but how they'll work may be unknown as well. So this is the problem. So AI systems can be very good. AI systems can be very bad. Again, like depending on how we are developing them. So nowadays, of course, we have got a lot of different types of AI systems, starting from different types of machine learning, neural networks, expert systems, and so on. So coming to this particular talk, as we can say, so AI systems can be misused easily. So this is what's happening in terms of like cybersecurity. AI systems are now becoming a very big weapon for cyber attacks. So what do you mean by AI-powered cyber attacks? So cyber attacks, which are AI-enabled, or there's some kind of AI systems which are actually making these cyber attacks, they are increasing worldwide, this kind of threats. And of course, hackers and cyber criminals who are extremely intelligent people, or maybe people who are not that intelligent, but are becoming intelligent with these AI systems in use. They are using these AI systems to launch sophisticated attacks that are very difficult to detect and defend. So just some data here. Market size of AI in cybersecurity is actually increasing and increasingly booming itself, actually. So in 2022, we had like $7.58 billion market size globally, expected to reach more than 10 times, almost like 80.83 billion by 2033. So different types of AI-powered cyber attacks are happening nowadays worldwide. Anything you name, an AI is there behind it. Exploitation of systems, theft of data, phishing emails becoming very common, smart botnets, very difficult to understand which is a legitimate bot these days, or AI-powered cyber bot for attacking. Malware, which can be devastating, DDoS attack, vulnerability discovery attack, anything you name, any kind of cyber attacks you name, that could be powered by AI. So there's a survey which has been done by the different among the different cybersecurity top-level executives in the different countries worldwide, and majority have said yes, they are very much concerned with the AI power attacks, and they have actually named different types of AI-powered cyber attacks. So in terms of like AI to use automation, automate the different types of cyber attacks, stealing sensitive or proprietary data, bugs in the different algorithm codes, which makes it very much vulnerable. So different types of cyber attacks, okay, they are actually named. So we can understand that this is a very challenging situation, okay, for the world to understand and deal with this kind of cyber attacks, which are becoming like a lethal weapon with AI in it. Interestingly, to make the matter worse, there comes generative AI. Okay, so Gen AI, which is a type of AI but more powerful, they are using AI to create new content like text, images, any kind of music, anything you say. So they are there. And this Gen AI actually works on the large language models, and it can create new data or content based on existing data or content. So they are more powerful than traditional AI. So traditional AI can actually understand different patterns and identify different patterns in the data. Gen AI is a step ahead, and it can create new content based on existing content that we feed into the system. So Gen AI, along with traditional AI, can act both as a boon or as a bane for cybersecurity. That means it's like a two-faced sword. Okay, it can be used as a lethal weapon for cyber attacks. At the same time, companies can actually benefit by using Gen AI for the cyber defense. So, what's the dark side of Gen AI? It poses significant risks. Sorry. So what's the dark side of Gen AI? It poses significant risk, including the potential for more sophisticated cyber attacks and the creation of everything malware, social engineering attacks, and so on. These attacks are so sophisticatedly designed that they can bypass any of the traditional security measures and can be a significant threat to digital systems and to networks. Gen AI, of course, leverages on the deep learning techniques and neural networks, and they use unsupervised or at the most semi-supervised learning techniques to replicate and create content which are almost identical as human content. So these type of like generated contents are very difficult to identify. Okay, and these are not legitimate contents. For example, so different types of attacks can happen. For example, it says phishing campaigns, deepfake social engineering attacks, malware attacks, identity thefts, anything you name, and Gen AI can actually make it more lethal. Phishing is a very important thing that's happening these days. I mean, it's becoming extremely challenging for different companies to identify a phishing attack. Normal phishing is itself challenging. Now, if you use Gen AI for phishing, that becomes a lethal weapon. And it can be used to create highly realistic and convincing phishing emails, and it can imitate legitimate organizations or individuals. Very, very difficult to understand a phishing email generated by a Gen AI bot or a phishing email created by a human being. Such are the contents of the email, including everything. So you take the English, the spelling, grammar, including punctuation. They are so nicely crafted by Gen AI bots. It's extremely difficult for companies or employees or normal people like us to understand day-to-day phishing attacks. So you might get an email which looks completely legitimate. You can actually open a link, and that's a Gen AI attack. Malware. This is another technology which are actually getting a lot of talks these days. Ransomware, let's say, for example. This technology can develop a self-learning polymorphic malware code that can constantly evolve and change based on the target system. So normal malware, these codes, malware codes, they are like fixed codes. They were unable to evolve based on the target system, but polymorphic malware codes based on Gen AI, they can constantly change their characteristic and can evolve based on the target system, making it very difficult to identify. Deepfake. I think most of us, or practically all of us, nowadays know what is deepfakes. So Gen AI can create sophisticated deepfake videos, audios, or images, and can manipulate visual and audio and content to deceive and mislead viewers. It can happen that like tomorrow morning, you get up from sleep and you can actually see your video as a funny video somewhere, and that's getting viral. And you get surprised, who is that? That's not me in the video. Of course it's not you in the video. It's your deepfaked video. It's your face or your features being craftily misused, okay, in a video, and that goes viral. This is what we deepfakes and creating a lot of waves these days worldwide. Identity thefts, of course, stolen personal information that happens online anyway. Now, with this kind of stolen personal information, Gen AI can create false documents that can look like real ones, and it's very, very difficult to understand which is a forged one and which is a real one. So I've got some data here. So 71% of the general email phishing, so among the general phishing emails, 71% are actually Gen AI powered these days. That's or AI powered these days. Among the spear phishing one, or phishing emails which goes to the top level CEOs or CFOs, the C-suite employees, 67% are AI or Gen AI powered. If you see the other different types of phishing, voice phishing, whaling, business email compromise, they all have some kind of a AI or Gen AI code in it. Here I've got an example of a phishing email. If you read that email, it's very hard to find out any mistakes or any flaws or anything that will actually let you understand that this is not a legitimate email written by someone. This is a very purely crafted phishing email generated by a Gen AI bot. Okay, so nowadays it's becoming very easy to create this kind of Gen AI phishing emails with Gen AI tools. And for companies, when they actually get this kind of emails, or individuals, employees in companies, when they get this kind of email, they get very confusing, and they could not understand that this is a generative AI-powered phishing email and not a normal email written by someone. Malware is another very important topic these days, and any of this malware can become very lethal with the help of AI or generative AI. Ransomware, for example, is now creating waves worldwide. That's because the ransomware attacks are actually increasing worldwide. So basically what happens, you open some kind of an email or anything like that, you can see that your whole system gets down, and then the ransomware people or the cyber criminals who have caused the ransomware attack, they say, okay, unless you pay us some kind of a bounty or a big amount of money, we will not release your system. So ransomware is like fairly common attack among let's like large companies or government institutions or organizations, practically in any different country worldwide. So here I've got some statistics, and you can see like different countries worldwide has actually fallen prey to this kind of attacks. So these things are increasing worldwide. So ransomware has become such a major cause of stress for organizations that there's a survey conducted by a company called Deep Instinct among 652 senior cybersecurity experts from different companies worldwide. 45% have said that ransomware is a main concern of their C-suite employees. For example, their CFOs or CEOs, they're very concerned about this kind of attack. 38% have probably already paid some kind of a money or bounty as part of the ransomware to release their system. And 27% say they would actually pay again in the future if this thing happened. Why are they so much concerned? Why they want to pay? Why they've already paid? 61% said that to avoid the downtime of their system, they actually pay the money. For example, if your entire network of an important organization is down because of ransomware, then the company loses money every second, okay? And the company loses reputation as a brand every second it's down. So to avoid losing more money, avoid losing reputation, as to save the face of the company, most of these C-suite executives, they actually prefer to pay the bounty rather than trying to fight it out, okay, with the cyber criminals. Another very important cyber threats happening worldwide is the deepfake, as I said. And deepfake can be used for anything. It can be used for election manipulation nowadays. It can be used for social engineering. It can be used for celebrity pornography, scams and hoax, financial fraud, identity theft, anything you name, and it can have a deepfake video or a deepfake story, whatever, that actually circulates and become viral these days and can manipulate results. A very important example, just like last year or last but 1 year, a big big company in Hong Kong, they actually fall prey to the deepfake video. So what happened? Employee of that company received an email from the CFO that, okay, can you transfer $25 million to this particular account? And he got suspicious. He then called up the CFO. Apparently, he called up the CFO, and the CFO asked him to come for an online meeting. So they set up an online meeting, and in the online meeting, he thought that he's talking to the CFO, but apparently that was a deepfaked avatar of the CFO whom he was talking with, and he could not understand that. And he transferred $25 million to another account, so a fake account. And the company actually lost the $25 million. That was a very big story worldwide. So as you can see, the deepfake videos or deepfake attacks are actually rising worldwide. And as normal human beings, we have to be very careful, like what we share online and then what we do online. So coming to the other side, Gen AI can also be a very big tool for cyber defense. So up till now, I was talking about cyber attacks. Now going to the cyber defense, that how organizations can actually leverage using Gen AI tools for cyber defense. So Gen AI as a cyber defense tool can improve threat detection, predictive analysis, automated response, and anything. So as I said, it could be a two-faced sword. It can be used as a boon, okay, for cyber criminals to launch sophisticated cyber attacks. It can be used as a bane, okay, for companies to safeguard their systems against Gen AI or AI-powered cyber attacks. So different types of Gen AI tools, for example, ChatGPT, they learn from LLMs or large language models, which are trained on extensive data sets of cyber threat intelligence. And these models then get trained on the different types of vulnerabilities, attack patterns, and potential attack signs. Okay, so all those are then input into the system, into the models, and they learn from it. They can then analyze vast amount of log files and network traffic data during a cybersecurity incident, which and then use those learnings to accelerate and automate the incident response process. So what do you mean by incident response process? That means like whenever a cyber attack happens, these models or these Gen AI powered tools can then understand and learn the patterns of these attacks from previous attacks, and they can then come up very quickly to how to really stop the incident from happening, or they can come up with the incident process system that if an incident happens, these are the ways to stop it and from preventing it from creating more threat to the company. So it's a big generative AI market worldwide, and expected that in the next 8 to 10 years, it will be rising to almost like $300,000 American dollars. And different parts of the network and cloud, everything could be safeguarded against AI and generative AI-enabled cyber attacks through AI and generative AI-enabled cyber defense tools and mechanisms. So an important survey was again done by Science Institute in America, where they created this incident response framework. And as you can see here in this particular diagram, that currently, where most of the companies are not using any of the Gen AI-powered cyber defense mechanisms, preparation to identify a cyber attack, actually identifying a cyber attack, then like preventing and containing a cyber attack, removing a cyber attack and recovery from the attack, and then feedback into the system, everything is in a very superficial level. Okay. However, if most of the companies use Gen AI powered tools, then they can utilize them to the full potential. And then the preparation or predicting a cyber attack, identifying an attack, containment, eradication, recovery, everything can have its full potential. They can actually utilize it in a much more benefit than what they're currently doing without these Gen AI powered tools. So what's the current status of this kind of Gen AI enabled cyber defense tools or platforms, and what's the future looks like? So as I said, Gen AI can proactively help in the cyber defense of organizations. However, Gen AI powered cyber defense mechanism is still in its very early or nascent stage, and there's lots of research is actually ongoing worldwide. So we can still see that the future, that the immediate future could be somewhat safe, but if we talk about today's future, it's still a lot more vulnerable with Gen AI attacks. But in future, immediate future, long-term future, with companies becoming more and more enabled with the GI-powered tools, cyber defense tools, yes, they can be safe. And proactively, Gen AI-powered cyber defense tools or platforms can actually help in preventing, in predicting and preventing all this type of cyber attacks. For example, automated security checks. Okay, so they can detect and correlate patterns across the different data sources and can automatically identify the what kind of vulnerabilities may happen, or they can assess the vulnerabilities by automating the whole systems. They can simulate real-world attacks. So nowadays, there's hardly any Gen AI-powered cyber defense tools, or some of the tools which are in the market, they're very expensive. So most of the companies like SME, small to medium scale companies, they do not have the money to buy these tools. However, what they can do, they can use some kind of a simulated version of different Gen AI powered tools. Either they can program it, or there are some tools available for simulation. These simulated version of the tools can actually enable them to simulate real-world attacks and can learn what kind of real-world generative AI attacks might happen. Okay, so there are some simulated tools for this kind of learning. Threat intelligence and predictive analysis. So Gen AI-powered systems can automate the processing and can analyze large volume of threat intelligence data. And from that, analysts in an organization can actually understand what kind of threats might happen. They can actually predict what kind of threats, and they can even understand what kind of actionable insights they must undertake to actually safeguard their organizations against such threat. Incident response and network monitoring could be another one, which will be useful. As I said, so this kind of Gen AI tools can expedite incident response process. So the moment analysts in a company or cyber people in a company can actually understand a threat that might happen, they can make their incident response system intelligent enough to automate and to identify suspicious behavior of the system, and to predict any kind of malicious behavior, and to detect any kind of anomalies. They can even block malicious traffic. So incident response and monitoring the network through automation can be very important. What are the different challenges to overcome, and what are the best practices to undertake for Gen AI-enabled cyber defense to be commonly undertaken things in different organizations? So the states organizations have just started to embrace generative AI for cyber defense, but there's a number of challenges to overcome. Some few challenges that I've actually mentioned here: data quality and bias in data. It's a very common issue with AI systems, but AI systems get data which may not be unbiased. So if you get a biased data or a skewed data, then of course your output will be very much biased, and your output will be very much inaccurate. So of course companies need to ensure that they use training data which are mostly unbiased, or at least having some minimum bias. They should implement data pre-processing techniques to address this kind of bias and to ensure data quality. That means like the data that they should input into their Gen AI models must be unbiased or at least minimum bias, and they have to make that sure. Adversarial attacks. This is another very challenging problem that companies might face with Gen AI systems. So adversarial attacks can actually manipulate Gen AI systems to carefully crafted inputs so that the system produce erroneous outputs. So if you see that picture here, of course, in a normal AI system without any attack, when you enter the image of a cat, the system will identify that it's a cat. Now, for example, if there's some phishing or a cyber attack into the system, the attacker can actually input some erroneous or some malicious data into the system, and that data will make the system to malfunction. Now the system, of course, will then identify a cat as a dog and not as a cat. So this is what we call an adversarial attack. Now, this is a very simple example that I've given. Adversarial attacks are much more complex than this. So companies need to implement robust adversarial detection and defense mechanism to identify and mitigate adversarial attacks. Because adversarial attacks, if they happen on a system, of course, the whole purpose of the Gen AI defense mechanism will fail. And companies need to incorporate training techniques during the models so that the models they train must identify that there could be an adversarial attack, and they should then work accordingly to identify this kind of attacks and eliminate them. Ethical and legal concerns, of course, this is another debate going on worldwide, as because now still now there's no proper ethical or legal universally accepted framework, okay, that the different companies and organizations worldwide can use. Of course, like different countries are coming up with their own framework, but it's not a foolproof one. It's not a universally accepted one still. Resource requirements is a very important challenge for organization. In order to implement this kind of Gen AI cyber defense system, companies need large number of resources. Now, most of the small to medium scale companies will not have the money to buy those resources, but they can actually leverage cloud-based resources which are available, or some distributed computing framework which will be easier to buy or to procure or to rent out to effectively train and deploy this kind of Gen AI models. Because of course, if you want to use the cyber defense systems, you have to train your models. So to train your models, you need resources. And companies have to continuously monitor and evaluate the optimized use of resources to ensure cost effectiveness and for scalability. The other important challenge that companies have to overcome is to integration and compatibility. Most of the companies have their own network, okay, these days, or companies might use some cloud-based networks. Now, these networks are traditional networks. They are not equipped at all to handle and identify AI and Gen AI powered threats. So there needs to be a collaboration or integration between these sophisticated AI defense tools and the existing networks. Now, that's not easy, but companies will have to do that anyway. That there should be a seamless integration of these tools into their networks. Next important, or like very important, is training of staff. Most of the staff nowadays in companies are not equipped enough to identify this kind of sophisticated attacks. So staff training must be there, and it should be like a repeated process. So what are the key takeaways up to now? So organizations have started to embrace Gen AI for the cyber defense, but as I said, too many challenges and uncertainties are prevalent. And a lot of research are actually going on, and researchers need to come up with solutions before generative AI-powered cyber defense mechanisms can be universally accepted. So Gen AI, we can say that it's the new strategic battleground. And as I say, it can be used as a lethal weapon for AI attacks, or it can be used to augment cybersecurity, cyber defense. So it can be used as a two-faced sword anyway. And companies need to identify the best practices in order to, let's say, accept Gen AI-based cyber defense mechanisms. So Gen AI can play multiple different roles in cybersecurity. Governance for AI in cybersecurity can be very important, as I said, for delivering long-term improvement and ethical data. They have to train cyber analysts, and there are different types of Gen AI-based training tools which are slowly coming out in the market, and companies can use them. Gen AI can be helpful in deploying security, orchestrate, automate, and provide response to improve the security management. And they can collaborate extremely well to enhance the threat intelligence, and so on. So there could be multiple different ways that companies can embrace Gen AI-enabled cyber defense platforms and tools. Here I've just named few of such tools, but there are more. But these tools are all in their very early stages. For example, like Google Cloud Security AI Workbench are slowly getting some tractions. Microsoft Security Copilot, which have the GPT in its backbone. CrowdStrike Charlotte AI, Cisco Security Cloud, Sentinel-1, another very important one. Air Gap Networks, ThreatGPT, Sophos. So multiple of those big names are slowly coming out with AI-powered cyber defense tools or Gen AI-powered cyber defense tools. So before I hand over to Dr. Humaira for the next part of the talk, so here I've got some different types of research topics or domains for the academic fraternity to consider for any kind of Gen AI-enabled cybersecurity and cyber defense research. Any of those topics or anything that I discuss as Gen AI-powered cyber defense can be very good or interesting topics for master's and PhD research. With that, of course, I will invite Dr. Humaira for the next part of the talk, where she'll be talking about Gen AI-enabled cyber defense and give an example of how phishing attack can be detected with the help of Gen AI swarm intelligence. Dr. Humaira, for you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Sir, actually, some questions are here. So please.
Okay, can we take the questions once we are done with the talk? Because this is just half of the talk.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Humaira. Prof, I'll share my own screen or?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, just like me. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it. Just maximize it.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Today I'll be talking on the cyber security the attacks of the cyber security. Basically, we'll be talking about the attacks that are generated by AI. And these attacks are very lethal, as highlighted by Dr. Sayan. Over here, it is a type of research-based thing that I'll be talking about now in few minutes. First of all, I just want to highlight over here that basically a phishing attack is the most important and very easy attack that is launched by any attacker. And through this phishing attack, an attacker can get the login credentials and other informations from a person. And phishing attack by the phishing email is a very, very easy attack. And likewise, many executives and every on the high seats could be affected by this type of attack. Nowadays, as we are getting the phishing attack to be generated, means it can be generated even by using the chat GPT. It means that a human mimicked email is generated. So it is a very important part that has to be tackled by the cybersecurity people. So, as a part of our research projects, also, we have been studying on the swarm intelligence. That what is the swarm intelligence and how it can be used to tackle and to detect the phishing attacks that are AI generated. Basically, over here, I want to give you a small introduction of swarm intelligence. Swarm intelligence is basically based on swarm algorithms. The idea comes from there, where the people get the idea from the ant colonies, the bird flocks, or the fish schools, where everyone is connected and is working as a separate agent. So over here, we have taken the concept of the agents that will work separately and then come up with the optimal solution, with any optimal type of solution to get to detect the phishing attack. So let's talk about a scenario where if we have any, you can say any, we are getting the stream of data from any website or from your mobile, maybe your mobile or anything, and from there we are getting data that consists of image, frame, and text. At this point, whatever data we are getting, it might be there might be involved any type of generative AI based attack. That includes the phishing attack also. So over here we need an intrusion detection system. This intrusion detection system will be based on different types of approaches that could detect the phishing or any other attack. At this moment, the most in focus systems that can, or you can say approaches that can detect the generative AI based attacks are the neural networks, as you know. So over here you can see that CNN, or CNN, which studies the patterns in the layers and weights them, can be used as best detector for the generative AI based attacks. And the LSTM, that is based on RNN, means recurrent learning. And when we use LSTM, it is basically for the text. When we are talking about phishing attack, it means that email is the text, and in this text we can detect the specific points by the attention mechanism, means the specific special characters or the mimicked pattern by the attention mechanism and recurrent learning. And then this input can be given to the intrusion detection system that can then specify the phishing emails separately, and an intruder can be stopped over here. Now, what I have done for you is I have simulated some of these models for you. I'll be showing you in a few minutes the simulations also. Over here, what we have simulated, we have come up with some of the results, and through those results, I'll be showing you the importance of swarm intelligence in detection of phishing attacks. So first of all, let me talk about CNN. So when we applied CNN for the detection of phishing attacks, we got 97.20 accuracy, which is quite a good accuracy. Then we applied LSTM. LSTM that is working, remember, that works with the attention mechanism and with RNN, and it gives 98.3% of accuracy. Then what is proposed and what we did was using the swarm ensembler. Now here you should know what is an ensembler. Ensembler is an approach in which different learning algorithms are work in the parallel, and the result or the prediction given by each of them is either is taken the average of that. Either we take one of the decision by voting, or maybe we take the weighted average of the predictions that are generated by the ensembler learning algorithms, different ensembler learning algorithms. So first of all, we use the ensembler learning algorithm with few of the classical, or you can say classifiers, that are already there in the traditional machine learning, and we got 96% of the accuracy. After that, we applied weighted averaging on these with this classifiers, the already machine learning classifiers, that is KNN. I'll be discussing them in the further also. KNN, random forest, SVM, etc. And we got 97% of the accuracy. After that, we implemented the voting ensembler, and we got 97% accuracy for the detection of the phishing attack. At the last, we tried the swarm intelligence concept, where we have we introduced the RNN based learning agents that will learn separately as an agent, and then we will be using the weighted average of them, and we got the result that is 99%, which is a very good percentage for the detection of phishing attack. One thing that I want to highlight over here is that we can also fine tune some of the parameters to take this accuracy to 100%, or maybe increase the level from 99 to 99.5 or something. And we can use these tunings in RNN also, and we can use some base pre-processing, more pre-processing steps, so that we can give it the data so that the accuracy is much increased. Let me share with you. One minute. I just want to share my Python file with you all. Okay, over here, if you can see that we have implemented the methods for detection of generative AI based phishing attack. So I have done it in the Python. Okay, over here, first of all, we have imported the files that are important. Likewise, PD as pandas as PD, and sklearn, model selections for testing and splitting the data, and so on. And after that, I have uploaded the data set. Then the first thing that I have done is TF-IDF. Now, TF-IDF is the pre-processing step. Basically, it will vectorize the text that we have in our email. So it is the basic pre-processing step, and it is very important for the outcome of the accuracy. A nomial naive based algorithm, to just see how the accuracy worked on this, because naive Bayes is not very good without TF-IDF. So I got 95% of the 95.65% of accuracy. Now, then I move towards the convolutional neural network, and I applied it by uploading the data set and then separating the text and training data, and I got the accuracy that is 98%. 97.20, that could be 97.20 of the accuracy. Then after that, I applied the random forest classifier because I was going to make the ensembler, so I have to implement a different type of classifier to come up with the ensembler. Then it was 97%. After that, I came up with the swarm ensembler, and this swarm ensembler basically is working on random forest classifiers. It means random forest classifiers, 2 or 3 instances of random forest classifiers are used to make a ensembler, and then the swarm based optimization is used, and it gives the 96% of accuracy. After that, we worked with different type of classifiers that are random forest, gradient boosting, SVM, and with linear kernel and k-nearest. We make the ensembler with these different classifiers, and the swarm ensembles and then combines the prediction of these classifiers using simple averaging method, and the accuracy was 98%. Okay, this was also the ensembler, but it was using the weighted average, and we had a very low 96% of accuracy. Let's move towards the swarm intelligence, where we used RNN with the swarm intelligence. As a swarm intelligence, we took the ensembler of RNN and we combined their decision by the weighted one. It aggregates the prediction of multiple base classifier in a manner of how swarm intelligence system operate. Swarm intelligence is collective behavior exhibit the decentralized and self-organized system composed of many agents interacting locally with each other and their environment. So after that, we get the complete detection of 99%. So this is how we came up through the journey of detecting the AI-generated phishing attack by swarm intelligence based on RNN, means reinforcement learning, where every new pattern that is introduced into the email is feedback into the system again, and the system modifies its working. So this is how we can come up with the solution for the best detection of the phishing attack emails. So this is the end of our presentation. I hope that you would have liked the session, and we are here for the question and answer session.
Thank you, ma'am. And hello.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ma'am, some questions are there actually, sir. So, sir, anyone asks which type of AI applications are used in cybersecurity solutions, sir?
Where are you going to go for that?
Sir, which type of AI applications are used in cybersecurity solutions?
Which type of
AI applications are used in cybersecurity solutions?
Okay, which type of application? Basically, I have just discussed with you that the applications or the intrusion detection systems must be based on neural network, because generative AI is based on neural network. and so we have to respond it with AI based systems, because attacks are also generated by the AI. Okay, so neural network is the best, and as I told you, nowadays swarm intelligence based on RNN is very into practice, or not into practice, but going on towards the practice.
Yes, 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 ma'am. Then, ma'am, one question asked by our participant: how can AI applications that do malware analysis be used?
Okay, malware analysis is also the same as malware. As you know, that in malware we have many things. Likewise, we have Trojan horse, we have viruses, we have many things of malware. If malware is written, it means it is in a soft form that is transmitted to your system. There also you need the LSTM, and you need TF-ITF, and after that RNN to respond or to detect that type of attack.
Yeah, I think to add to that, like most important nowadays is RNN for the GenAI thing. But as Humaira actually mentioned, there are other different concepts, okay, that you can use. Any of these like attacks that I mentioned during my slides talk, as Dr. Humaira has mentioned, can be powered by AI or GenAI. And by the same time, you can actually use GenAI to come up with cyber defense using the same algorithms to prevent and to predict and prevent these attacks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, last question says, sir, is it safe to automate cybersecurity with AI?
Cybersecurity systems are already getting automated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like no stopping. I mean, even if like companies want to stop, they cannot, because lots of systems already automated this case. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.